right, hello boys and girls, and welcome back to another counseling lesson with Miss Wright. I wanted to leave you with something as you are getting ready for the summertime, getting ready for the next grade level, and then my fourth graders, you are getting ready to move on into the world. We have spoken about so many different things as it relates to resilience on this wonderful ride called the reality ride, right? So, and we have dived really deep in understanding what does it mean when I have a challenge and I keep moving. We talk about resilience because we know that resilience is the ability to bounce back when you have every reason to shut down, right? It doesn't mean permanent, right? We talked about would you rather be successful or would you rather be resilient? And I say, hey, be resilient because it's always there. You're always going to have challenges. Sometimes you're not going to be successful in everything, but you always have the ability to bounce back. And so that's what we want to focus on today, specifically with something called relational resilience. How do we keep moving? Or better yet, why do we keep moving? Why do we keep bouncing back? Or why do we keep pulling forward and pushing forward from the mistakes that happen? What's the purpose of that? So we're going to talk about relational resilience, what that means for you, and how that can continue to help you to move forward. So y'all know Ms. Wright is all about the videos. So we're going to watch a quick video, and I want you to notice inside this commercial, it's actually a commercial for a train, right? But I want you to notice the animation, and I really want you to think about what message were they trying to say, about their company. Look at these different types of animals and just notice what they're doing together. Alright, keep watching. I think you're starting to get it. Keep watching.
It's smarter to travel in groups.
Alright, so I hope that you were able to use inference and able to make an inference and really understand that it was all about just being smart, working together when you're trying to achieve a goal in the face of a challenge. So you even notice from the beginning with the ants, even with the crab, right? Even with the firefly, he was off by himself, but when you have a whole bunch of fireflies, you're able to find your way. Look at the penguins. When the killer whale was coming, it was like, instead of just, freaking out and just thinking that, everybody's going to be eaten alive, they didn't do that. They all huddled together and shifted the weight of the iceberg, and it actually stopped the killer whale. So we're going to be talking about that today with our relationships. Why our relationships with people, whether they're your friends, your family, your teachers, why it's so important. Why do we draw this emotional strength from others and in order to help us to get to where we need to be? So I want to tell you something. Your greatest motivation to not give up is the knowledge that others depend on you. When people cheer you on, when people believe in you, and when people support you, boys and girls, believe it or not, that's what pushes you forward. just like me, I'm your school counselor, right? And every day I wake up and I come to work excited and happy because I know that you guys depend on me. Just as much as you listen to me and you encourage me and I see you doing these awesome things, it helps strengthen me. It helps to keep me going to being the best counselor that I can be so I can move forward in the face of my own challenges, right? And so we draw this strength from the emotional support of others. When I'm weak and I don't feel like being here, just to see your smile on your face, y'all working hard, it just makes me like, hey, Miss Wright, keep it moving and grooving. And I also shared a little picture of Kyle here, as you can see, because he's my little motivation too. He keeps me going. His smile and his laugh. We all have someone or something. Today we're going to be talking about someone, right, that helps to support us when we are feeling discouraged and we feel like we can't continue, right? So we start to realize that our greatest power comes from human connection. We need it. And I know some of you may be feeling right now like, well, I just don't have anybody. And I'm going to, change that today, because you do have people, but you have to receive the help today. You have to be aware that there are people that are cheering you and that love you and that support you. You have to take it, embrace it in order to keep moving forward. So we're first going to get into relational resilience with this picture. I love these why try pictures, right? So you see some birds here, right? Okay. And these birds are actually a flock of geese. And so I don't know if any of you ever have heard of the word a gackle, but when you see a flock of geese together, they're actually called a gackle. A gackle. Sorry, Miss Wright kind of said it a little bit funny. All right. But if you ever notice in the sky, maybe you're outdoors and sometimes you don't always see it, but when you see birds flying, sometimes they form like really amazing shapes. And I don't know if you've ever noticed the gackle of geese flying, but they actually make a shape. And so some of you probably already know it and you're already saying it, but I want to show you a picture as to what it looks like. So this is obviously a V shape. And there's a certain order that geese fly in when they're flying together, and they're gackle, right, to get to a destination. And so I want you to think about for a second, why do geese form this shape when they fly? What's the point? I mean, think about it. Why can't it just be one geese, just flying by himself or herself, trying to get to where she needs to get? Right? Okay. So as you're answering that question, the reason why geese fly together in this shape is because they reduce the amount of resistance. Remember the last guidance lesson we talked about lifting the weight, because there's that resistance, that push, and in our reality, resistance can be like our challenges. Well, when we think about in science terms, when geese are flying and they're in this V shape, right? The resistance of the wind is pushing against them as they're trying to move forward. So the reason why they fly together in this V shape and they're all in a certain order is because it makes getting to their destination a lot smoother. I mean, they reduce it up to, I think I read, about 70%. That's a lot. Think about it. It's like sticking your hand outside of a window. You ever stick your hand outside of your car window and the wind's pushing against it and you're trying to, keep your arms steady? Just imagine if you were up in the air flying by yourself and there's already Mother Earth that provides that wind and the weather outside, and you're by yourself. You're probably not going to get anywhere as quick as you want to, or it's going to take a lot of effort. But when you have some help, right, it makes it all to the better. So when we think about resistance, we think about the challenges, the problems that we all have in our individual lives. We all have them, right? Sometimes we have things at home. Sometimes we have, things at school. Sometimes we have things with our friends. But no matter what, I want to let you know that you're not alone, okay? So the reason why these geese, they're handling their resistance together is because they know that they can depend on each other. And each one of them plays a part in helping them to reach wherever destination that they're trying to go. So stick with me, right? Okay, because we're going to pretend kind of like we're the geese today, right? We have our own resistance. Individually, each of us have our own issues and our challenges that we're constantly trying to lift the weight, right? But let's think about it for a second. Are we able to really do this thing called life, the reality ride, by ourselves? Or do we need support? Is it better to get support from other people to help push us forward? Think about that for a second. You are resilient, my friends, because other people depend on you. So I wrote down a couple of notes because this is really important. You draw strength from others. That's what keeps you to move forward, because people depend on you. And I know some of you may feel like nobody depends on me. Yes, they do. Your class depends on you. Your class depends on you, because when you're learning and you're moving and grooving, other people are learning and moving and grooving, then the class becomes successful and the class moves forward. Your friends depend on you, right? You get to determine who your friends are. You get to determine what happens within your friendship circles and the things that you do. Your family members depend on you. When you come home, just your energy, your motivation, the things that you say, right? They depend on you when you come home to be their happy place, to be their safe place that they can turn to. And last but not least, your teachers depend on you. Your teachers are here because of you. When you're pushing through, when you're learning, when you're grooving, they become better. You become better. We all become better, right? Okay? So when we get into our next question, right? You're probably figuring, well, Miss Wright, I spend a lot of time and I know that people depend on me, but who supports me at the same time? You have me, the school, your counselor. You've got your principals, you've got your teachers, you've got your friends, you've got all these wonderful people that support you. And I challenge you to really reflect and think, how can I draw strength from all of these people that support me, right? Sometimes, boys and girls, we all can be just like this geese right here. We're all the head of the line. We're like all sometimes we can be just like that leader where everybody is trying to follow us because we're doing the right thing. We're pushing and grooving and others are joining in and we're just leading and carrying the way. But I got to tell you, sometimes when we have that challenge or we get tired or we get sick, it's okay to switch positions with someone else, because they're going to draw that strength from you. And sometimes, just like this geese and in real life, we may need to switch positions and we may need to go to the back for a little bit, right? So we can get the help that we need, but we're still going through and going to the same destination. So when we become slow, this geese right here, what happens in the formation, and this is happening in real life, when this geese gets tired or maybe needs a break, another goose takes the lead. And guess what the rest of the geese do? They start hunking, they start cheering the other geese on, because we're all trying to get to the same goal. We're all trying to get to the same destination. And so look at that beautiful just picture of teamwork. We have that as our character trait, right? When we're working with other people and when we get tired, somebody else picks up, the work that was so heavy, the load that was so heavy, we're able to keep pushing through, right? So last but not least, whenever you feel tired, right? We talked about when the geese gets tired, sometimes can still keep moving and move to the back of the V shape, right? And everybody's honking and cheering. But then there's also those times, boys and girls, where some geese, they get tired and they get sick or they get injured and they actually fall to the ground. Like they just cannot fly anymore. And I want you to notice this little area at the bottom of the picture. Notice that when this geese has fallen, right, is no longer with the group, there is always another geese that will come to the geese's rescue and help to stay and support that geese until that geese is ready to fly. And I don't know about you, but I think that that is a beautiful, beautiful picture to remember about our reality. When we fall, when we get stuck, when we feel like we're at rock bottom and we can't fly anymore, we have people, we have friends, we have this world and different people in this world that will come and help us and help stick with us and push us through. And I want to let you know that you have that here at school. Some of you may be saying right now, well, I don't have that at home. I don't have nobody. But you do have someone. You have us. You have your counselor. You have your principal. You have your teachers. All of us support you. And when you know and you feel and you can say in your mind and in your heart that I know that others depend on me and they're rooting for me, then when you get ready to fly, you're going to be right back up there trying to get to your destination. But we're going to stay and we're going to stick with you. And so this is that beautiful scene of relational resilience, because I think, boys and girls, all of us have had some times where we just feel like we're just falling apart. We're not catching up with the rest of everybody else. Or let's say Susie, her parents are fine, they're lovey-dovey, but my parents, they're divorced and they're arguing, right? That's okay. That is okay. What I love about connections is that there are other people that are probably going through the same thing. And even if you don't find them, it's okay to talk to someone about it, because you're going to need that emotional support to keep you going. That person's going to give you some really good words of encouragement to keep you moving and grooving. Because remember, resilience is the ability to bounce back. And so that relational resilience is so important, because we know that other people depend on us. We know that other people want us to be successful. And so that's what's going to push us forward. So if you are the person that sometimes sees somebody falling, right? Maybe you're moving and grooving, you've been the leader, now you're, with the rest of your friends, and you're moving and grooving in school and you're feeling good. And sometimes when we feel really good and things are going good, I'm going to challenge you to do something else. Sometimes we just need to look outward and help other people, right? Because, boys and girls, it comes back full circle. When you do kind things to other people and you serve other people, most of the time it comes back to you, because there's going to be a day where you may need it. And so whenever you feel like, you're coasting, you're grooving, you're bouncing back, we always want to look outward and we want to help other people. And ways that we can do that is saying thank you, encouraging others. We're in our last character trait celebration. We want to make sure that we are building really good, strong, positive relationships, because we know that everybody depends on everybody. We all need each other. And so I hope that you enjoyed this lesson today. And I want you to remember that relational resilience comes from the knowledge that other people depend on you and that support that you feel. That's what's going to keep you going. Don't let anyone else tell you different. When you move this summer and you're moving and thinking about that next grade level, just know you are not by yourself. We all need you, right? And you need us.